Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing more dump and go crock pot dinner recipes. These are all super easy dinners that are great to throw in the crock pot on a busy weekday. If you just need something simple, easy, and budget friendly, these are going to be perfect for you. So let's go ahead and get into all of these dinner recipes. This first crockpot dinner was absolutely delicious, but also super easy to make. So you're gonna want to start off with 1 pound of some lean ground beef in a skillet. I chose to add in some peppers as well as some onions just because I like to add a little bit of extra in there, but you can skip that if you don't want to add it in. Go ahead and just brown all of this up together, and then we're gonna head over to the crockpot. I always like to spray my crock pot with a little bit of oil. On this day I'm using avocado oil spray, and then I'm adding in half a can of crushed tomatoes. So this is about 15 ounces of crushed tomatoes. I'm also adding in 1 cup of mild salsa. You can use medium if you want to. And then I also have a can of corn that I drained off, as well as 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning. I do like to make my own, but you can definitely just use a packet for this if you want to. And then I added in a couple cloves of minced garlic, along with that beef and peppers and onions mixture. And then for the liquid, I just added in about 2.5 cups of chicken stock, but you can also use chicken broth or beef broth, and that will work perfect as well. I cooked this on high for about 3.5 hours. Once that was all cooked, I added in my shell pasta. You're gonna wanna add in about 12 ounces of shell pasta here. And you're gonna let this cook for like anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, just depending on your crock pot. I would always recommend cooking the pasta on high because you want it to cook kind of fast versus like a slow cook. Put the lid back on, let it cook for that time frame. Once all your pasta is done cooking, I added in probably like a cup to a cup and a half of shredded cheddar cheese. Mix that in there, and this is such a delicious and easy weeknight dinner. Perfect. It makes a ton too, so it's great if you want to have leftovers for lunches the next day, but this was definitely a winner. On this next night, I made some chicken burrito bowls. You can also turn this into chicken tacos if you want to do it that way, but I'm just using my smaller crock pot for this one. I'm spraying it with some avocado oil. I added in 2 frozen chicken breasts, and then I'm adding in my taco seasoning. I did about 2 tablespoons of homemade taco seasoning. I added in 1 can of petite diced tomatoes in there. I also added in like probably half of a large onion, or you can use 1 small one. Make sure to chop it really finely, and then I also added in about 1 large bell pepper. Mine was frozen. And then I added in probably about, I would say like half a cup of some salsa, a little bit of minced garlic, and then I just cooked this on high for about 4 hours, making sure that my chicken was cooked all the way through. Once my chicken was all done cooking, I just took 2 forks and shredded it that way, just because I wanted my chicken to be a little bit on the chunkier side. But if you want more of like a finely shredded chicken, I would go ahead and grab your hand mixer and shred it that way. And then I just added that chicken right over some jasmine rice. And then you're just gonna top this with all of your favorite burrito fixings. So I decided to do black beans on mine. I love to add some corn on there. Of course, you're gonna want some cheese. I also love to add on lettuce, avocado, tomato, sour cream, salsa, all of the fixings, but really you can just add whatever you want. That's one thing that I like about this, because my kids don't always love everything that I add to mine, and you can totally personalize it to the person. So this is definitely a winner. Definitely will be making this one again. For this next crockpot meal, I am making French dips, and this is something that I've actually never made before, but these turned out so good. I will definitely be making them again. My husband and I really enjoyed these ones. So I'm starting off with like a 1.5 to 2 pound chuck roast, and then on top of that, I'm just adding in like half of a sliced up onion. You can skip that if you want to, but I did feel like it added some flavor. And then I added in 2 cups of beef broth, along with 1 tablespoon of some minced up and dried onion. I added in probably like at least half a teaspoon of garlic powder, but I just did that to taste. And then I also added in just a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And then I just cooked this on low for like 7 to 8 hours until the meat was super nice and tender. You'll know that your meat is done once it's really nice and tender, and you can just pull it apart with a fork. I did make sure to remove those large fatty pieces because I definitely did not want that in with my French dip sandwiches. So I'm left with the pretty lean pieces of meat, and I'm just shredding that up here with 2 forks. And then we're going to be throwing this into these sub rolls. The day before this, I had actually made some homemade Italian bread, which you probably saw in one of my last videos where I shared the pizza boat recipe, so go check that one out if you haven't. But on that same day, I had also made some sub rolls. So this is just Italian bread that I made into smaller buns. It worked perfect. They were absolutely delicious and perfect for this recipe, but you can use sub rolls from the store, or really whatever you have on hand will be great, but you kind of want a little bit more of like a drier bread, I would say, and something a little bit more dense. So I just threw some meat in there and then I topped it with some cheese. If you have provolone, that is best. All I had on hand was cheddar, and I forgot to get provolone from the store, so that is what I chose to use. I just put these onto a baking sheet, and I think I ended up baking them at 400 degrees for probably just like 5 or 6 minutes, really just until that cheese was melted. But this one was so delicious. And then back over to my crock pot here, I added in probably like half a package of a jus gravy mix. I did add a little bit of water in there because I felt like it was salty with the broth, because the beef broth was in there already, so it made it a little bit salty. So I added probably like half a cup of water, mixed it up again, and this was like the perfect jus gravy to go with these French dip sandwiches. Definitely give this one a shot if you have never made French dips at home. For this next dinner, I'm making a creamy ranch chicken, and this one was really delicious, and it was nice because everything was in one pot. To start off, I'm actually making my ranch seasoning mix here. I'm not going to tell you all the measurements in this video, but I will have it linked down below. So if you want to make a healthier version of ranch seasoning, this is what I've been using, and it honestly is really, really good in ranch recipes. So if you're just looking for a healthier alternative, I definitely recommend this one. It is a copycat Hidden Valley Ranch dressing mix, and it's delicious. The only thing that I will say is I feel like it's less salty. So when I go to make like homemade ranch dressing with like sour cream or with yogurt, I will usually just add in a little bit of extra salt in there, because I think there's only like a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half in this recipe. It's really not a lot. So just check out the description box if you want that recipe, and I will have the link to it there. Once I had made up a new batch of that dressing mix, I just set that aside and got to work on my produce prep. So here I have 4 russet potatoes. I just washed these, peeled them, and I cut them into some pretty large chunks. I think I did like 8 pieces to each potato, so pretty large chunks here. And then you can use baby carrots, or you can use what I did, and I just had some ready to go in my fridge. I just cut those in half, so they're about the size of a baby carrot. And then here I have an onion that I'm also dicing up. Once all of my produce was prepped, I just headed over here to mix up the sauce that's going to go on top. So this is just 1 can of cream of chicken, and then I threw all of that diced onion in there. You do want to make sure this is really finely diced up. And then I'm adding in my ranch seasoning. So I did 2 tablespoons of that. I did add on a little bit of extra salt like I had mentioned before. And unless you're using the stuff from the store, then I would not add the extra salt. And then I just added in the milk, stirred this together, and then you're just going to pour this on top of the whole mixture, and it's just super quick and easy. But I'm just spraying my crock pot. I'm adding in 3 chicken breasts. You can do 4 if you want to, but really we just really didn't need that much on this night. I added in the potatoes and the carrots, and then I just poured this on top. So quick and easy. I cooked this on high for about 4 hours. Once my chicken was done, the whole meal was done, and it was just so quick and easy. This was a perfect dinner for a busy weeknight. Definitely give this one a shot if you like just like a classic chicken and potatoes kind of meal. I think you will like this one. For this next dinner, I am making some cracked chicken sandwiches, and this is just a classic in our house. I make this one quite a bit because it's so easy and everyone loves it. So I'm just spraying my crock pot with some oil, and then I'm adding in 2 large chicken breasts. You can do 3 if your chicken breasts are a little bit smaller. I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of that ranch seasoning mix with a little bit of extra salt, just because the recipe that I used is not very salty. If you're using a packet from the store, just omit that salt. And then I did a 1/4 cup of chicken broth here, dump that in, as well as half a block of cream cheese. You can do a little bit more cream cheese if you want to, but honestly it's just as good with half a block in there, and it's a little bit less calories. And then I cooked that on high for 4 hours. Right before dinner, I just shredded up some fresh cheddar cheese. If you do not have a rotary grater, get yourself one. They are so nice for shredding cheese if you like to do it at home instead of buying the pre-shredded stuff. So once that chicken was done, I just shredded that up with my hand mixer mixer, I do like to have my chicken really finely shredded for this one, which is why I use the hand mixer. And then I'm adding in about half a cup of bacon bits. These are like the real bacon bits, not like the fake ones, if you know what I mean. And then you're gonna wanna add in probably like a cup of cheddar cheese, mix all of that together, let the cheese melt, and then you just serve this on top of buns, or you can even serve this on like salads or on pizza. Like, this is just a really, really yummy recipe. Alright you guys, that is going to wrap up today's crockpot video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button for lots of more easy recipes on my channel. And I will see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!